The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, welcome to our live career and franchise opportunity webinar. My name is Brian Cook. I'm the founder and CEO of Get in Shape for Women. Really excited to be with you today. The three areas we're going to focus on are going to be how to lose 12 to 30 pounds in 12 weeks or less, whether it's you or someone you can help, how to take this passion and turn it into a meaningful career, and then thirdly, how to open your own Get in Shape for Women franchise. So these are the three areas of focus today. So before we get started, I want to dive into something we call positive focus. And we learned this doing an off-site training program. Basically, anytime negativity is present, creativity can't be. So when you do a positive focus, both professional and personal, it puts you in a positive state of mind, which lends to a very productive meeting. So every meeting we have at the corporate office for the past year or so begins with a positive focus, one professional, one personal. So I'll go first. Let's see. Personal positive focus. This past weekend, my wife and I took our two youngest kids to a carnival, and I hadn't been to one in a while, so that was pretty fun, and particularly to see the expression on our kids' face, just of pure joy. I think we all remember, doing that with kids, and when we were little, just how fun it was. So that was really fun. And then I guess tonight, my wife and I are having date night, trying to maintain the Thursday night tradition. So far, so good. And professional, positive focus professional, I'm really excited to be running this webinar. We're really gearing up for some rapid growth across the country. So we're definitely excited to take Get in Shape for Women to the next level, and really hope you'll join us. All right, moving on. So our purpose is to empower women through body transformation. So we like to spend a little bit of time in this because it's really important that we don't get confused with another great workout. And something we like to say is there's great workouts everywhere, but transformation nowhere. So we don't want to just exist to deliver great workouts to women around the world. We want to exist to empower women through body transformation, real transformation. I don't know about you, but I don't get excited just to train people. I get excited when I see them transform and see how it changes their life. So that's super fun. And once you start doing it, you'll realize just how incredibly impactful it is to your own life as well as others. So we want to stay on that, and this is something that's to the root of Get in Shape for Women. It's it's a competitive advantage we have, because clearly transforming people is not easy. So it's definitely what we do. So I just wanted to hang on that for a minute. Next thing we did at this offsite training, Lou, who's the president of Get in Shape for Women, Lou and myself did, is we worked with this company, and they helped us articulate our purpose, core values, and mission. The purpose we always had pretty clear, and the mission was relatively easy, but when it came to core values, this was somewhat challenging, because when someone says, what are your core values, you're kind of like, wow, what is that? So we spent some time in this exercise, and for me personally, I had to go way back to my first studio to really kind of get clear about what are the things that make me tick. And the reason it's important to have core values articulated in a company is because you're going to hire, you're going to train, and you're going to fire to your purpose, core values, and mission. And if your team doesn't 100% believe in them, then you can't have them on board, because it'll just create friction and you'll never reach your goal. So when we interview people to become potential team members or franchise owners, we essentially have a long conversation about purpose, core values, and mission. And when you think about it, when you have a conversation like this, you're going to really get to know how someone's wired. You're going to get to know what makes them tick, as opposed to just the traditional tell me about your experience interviews that are pretty common. So I want to take you through the 9 core values of, you know, why they are what they are. So the first one, we treat our customers like family. This was a really cool one to start with, and for me, going back to my first studio, I invited all my clients to my wedding when I was, you know, way back. I was 26 years old. So it lends to the point: if you were going to get married again, would you invite your clients to your wedding? If the answer is no, maybe you don't have the right relationship with your clients. So we want to treat our clients like we would our sisters, mothers, aunts, just how we would treat family. And that when they come into our studios, when we're training them, doesn't mean we're not going to hold them accountable because we're fitness coaches, but we're going to really take care of them and treat them like family. That's, you know, that's why it's the #1 core value. The second one, pretty obvious, we have a passion for health and fitness. So obviously, if someone didn't have a passion for health and fitness, they couldn't be on our team because it just wouldn't make sense. We believe in the power of positivity. So this is definitely, some people see the glass half full, some see it half empty. So we really believe the power of positivity will guide you in any circumstance. So we're always trying to focus on the positive, and positive focus just made perfect sense, something we hadn't done prior to this training, but it's really made a big impact on us. Next one, we wow our customers by exceeding expectations. So we're really focused on making sure that whatever expectation we set, that we exceed it. And we've gone to great lengths to develop systems where when we bring new customers on, we want to make sure that we over-deliver. And we have something we call a 30-day new client experience. And there's a ton of things that happen in the first 30 days just to make sure that the new client says to themselves, wow, this is incredible. And the same thing goes for new franchise owners. If we don't get better and better every time we open up a new studio, we will not reach our goal of we won't continue to reach our growth goals. So we're very particular about making sure we exceed all expectations, whether it's a new client in the studio or a new franchise owner. We check our egos at the door. So this is one that a lot of companies have, so we definitely didn't originate this. So the way we think about ego, everyone has a certain ego to a certain point, but if your ego becomes too big, it means you have nothing more to learn. So we want to make sure that the people that we recruit have their ego in check and are ready to learn. And that goes for trainers coming into our program. Sometimes trainers, you know, may know it all, or managers, owners, corporate staff, could be anyone. Next one, we're continually learning. So this kind of goes hand in hand. So if you have too big of an ego, as I said, you're going to have a hard time learning new things. So we're kind of insatiable learners. We really get excited about improving the model. We're doing a ton of, you know, we read a ton of books, trying to implement as much as we can. Something else we started recently called the Strategic Coach, which it's been about a year since the corporate team has been doing it, and basically it's a company that helps companies grow 10x. And I go to LA every quarter with a group of 20 plus entrepreneurs, and it's just a system. And this guy Dan Sullivan, who created Strategic Coach, is just incredible, and I've had great success. So looking forward to that continuing. Next one, we believe in honest, open communication. So this is just obvious, makes sense. It's a relationship. So corporate team is a relationship. Franchise owners are a relationship. And we want to make sure, like any relationship, we're honest and open and we communicate effectively. So whether I'm frustrated with you or you're frustrated with me, let's talk about it. We may not agree, but at least we're going to see it from each other's perspective. We believe accountability leads to success. So clearly at the studio level, we hold our clients accountable to reaching their goals. We hold ourselves accountable to reaching our corporate goals, and we hold our owners accountable to reaching their goals. So we're big believers that accountability leads to success, and it starts with taking personal responsibility of your current situation and then taking the necessary steps to move forward. And then lastly, we love what we do. So this is definitely, one of the most important ones to me. And when you truly love what you do, you never work a day. That saying is just incredible. And for me, I've been very lucky to own my own company for a long time, and many times can't decide whether I want to go golfing or go to the office or go boating or go to the office just because I love what I do so much that it's not considered work. So just wanted to share the 9 core values we have. We've recently started to put them in our marketing. We really want to embrace these core values and show people what we're made of. Okay, moving on. Our mission to open 5,000 locations by 2036 by developing the best fitness franchise model in the world. So pretty lofty goal, huh? Well, that's the way we do things. We're really looking to make a lasting impact on the world, not just in Massachusetts or in 17 states, but definitely a global footprint. I'm sure most of you have heard of the fitness concept called Curves. I bet you didn't know that they have 7,000 locations in 90 countries right now. So clearly, a different business model has paved the way, and they're in 90 countries. So as they shrunk domestically, they grew internationally. So we're excited about this mission. Myself personally, I will not rest until we reach this goal, and that at this point I'll feel like I've grown Get in Shape for Women and made the biggest impact I can make. Okay, let's jump into body transformation. The key is the sum of all parts. So this is really the cornerstone of what the Get in Shape for Women model is all about. It's based on 4 components. First one's weight training, second one's cardio, third nutrition, and fourth, the most important, accountability. You must be held accountable by someone other than yourself. So in the 20 plus years I've been personal training, I would have clients sitting in my office and I would ask them, have you ever followed all 4 components at the same time? And of course the answer would be no. I've either done weight training, I watched what I ate, I did a little cardio, but no one ever held me accountable. And then of course I would say, well, of course. So I wasn't surprised. So no one's ever sat in my office across from me, followed all 4 components, because if they had, they wouldn't be in my office in the first place looking for help and transformation. So in the webinar, we're going to go into detail these 4 components that I really want to make sure everyone on the call, we're really clear. These 4 things will set you or anyone else you feel like helping free and allow you to help them transform. All right, so weight training. Purpose of weight training is to increase lean body mass, which is your muscle tone. As a result of that, you're going to increase your resting metabolism. And to give you an idea, just an increase of about 5 pounds of muscle will give you an elevated metabolism about 200 calories a day. So it means when you sleep at night, your body's going to burn 200 more calories per day than if you didn't have the muscle. And to even get more clear, that means by putting 5 pounds of muscle on your body, when you go to sleep at night, someone else that doesn't have the muscle has to go, on a 25-minute, 30-minute run. So weight training is really, it's like investing. There's no way to really get lean and transform without increasing resting metabolism. So weight training is huge. For us, as a picture of one of our studios, we use, kettlebells, TRX, dumbbells, lunging squats, planks, plyometrics. We have a really robust program. At home, you can do a ton of stuff, just body weight training, which we can get into that a little bit later. The other way we deliver weight training in our studios is something we call Workout of the Week, and we have a different workout that we deliver to our customers each week for 12 weeks. And everything changes from the exercise to the motion. It keeps it fresh, but the thing that's really important is it's a system. So it's systematic variety. Every 12 weeks, it resets back to week 1, and no one's going to remember what they did week 1 at the end of 12 weeks. And the way we deliver the workout is our owners get a video similar to this screenshot, and Dave, our director of franchise support, is basically taking someone through the entire workout. So our owners are able to get with their teams, practice the workout before they go live with it on that Monday. We also send out a picture which gets placed at each station, allows the clients to learn what they're doing, and it also allows the training staff to really know what's going on. Second piece is cardio. So in our studios, we do 25 minutes of high-intense interval training, and very effective form of cardio. Cardio is going to increase calorie and fat burning. It's going to increase your good cholesterol, and it's going to lower your blood pressure and heart rate. So this is all stuff that's scientifically proven to get you in shape. And just like the weight training, we vary the interval cardio every week for 12 weeks. So if you look on the screen in between those two TVs is an interval timer. We change the settings in that timer. 1 week it could be 1 minute of really intense interval followed by 3 minutes of steady state back to 1 minute interval. And the cool thing about interval training is you can envision 4 ladies on the cardio all doing the interval at the same time, and the trainer coaching it. So the women motivate each other, pace each other, and it's just a really awesome thing to see. Third piece, nutrition. This definitely is an area where most people get incredibly confused and where we can all agree the majority of us struggle. So what we like to do at Get in Shape for Women is we like to coach framework, really teach you the fundamentals of nutrition that work 100% of the time. So I'm going to review those with you. They're up on the screen. So when we coach someone, we're going to explain that we want your caloric intake to be between 1,300 and 1,600 calories a day, of which 100 grams of protein minimum. So you need 100 grams of protein minimum of your 1,300 to 1,600 calories. And when you think about that, it's really difficult to put 1,600 calories together that's not healthy, but it's impossible with 100 grams of protein. What will typically happen is someone will get to 1,600 and they may have 60 grams of protein. It's not good enough, so they have to kind of go back to the drawing board, substituting some foods. 8 to 10 glasses of water, eat every 2 to 3 hours, and you get 1 free day. So we call this a 6-day nutrition blueprint. So 6 days have to be perfect, non-negotiable. 1 day, anything goes. So every week, 1 day you can pick. It could be a birthday, could be Mother's Day, could be whatever is happening. Your free day is fine, provided your six days are perfect. And what we do is we spend a lot of time with our clients developing this blueprint, sample menus, sample days of nutrition showing how many different foods you can eat, staying within this caloric and protein range. Accountability, the fourth piece. So basically, you have to hold yourself accountable. If someone's in one of our studios, then our job is to hold them accountable. But if you're going to learn this on your own or help someone else, you have to hold yourself accountable. There's a weekly weigh-in. You have to have a weekly weigh-in. We weigh all our clients in every week to hold them accountable to the goal that they set. Obviously, motivation is huge. So it's tons of high fives, tons of congratulations, great job. Hard conversations, very important in the coaching process. So if someone is stumbling, we need to pull them aside, have a sit down, review again why it is they came to see us, how this weight gain has affected their life, and are they really serious about changing. So hard conversation is very important in the coaching process. And then lastly, something we call managed behavior. And most people struggle because they only focus on results, and they focus on the scale, and they're frustrated why something isn't happening. But if you focus on just the behavior, which is the 4 components, weight training, cardio, nutrition, and accountability, if I focus on the behavior, the results will happen. It's 100% fact. Sometimes it may be slower, sometimes it may be faster. So you may get out of the gate fast and have a sticking point. Slow and steady wins the race. You need to focus on the behavior and be excited that you've actually begun the process. Don't only focus on the result. They will come. Okay, so next, how do I get started? What's a good way, Brian, for me to lose 12 to 30 pounds in 12 weeks or less, kind of grab onto this skill of transformation for myself or someone you may know that needs a little bit of help, and you can be the one to help them. So we created this cool free report and video series titled How to Safely Lose 7 Pounds in 7 Days in the Privacy of Your Home. This will be, it's either up on our website now or will be up soon, and I put the link down below. It's just our website.com/7pounds7days. And if you just put your email in and click submit, you're going to get a really detailed report. It's going to go into complete detail about nutrition. It's going to help you set up your 6-meal-a-day blueprint. It's going to give you a bunch of examples of other blueprints that you can follow or just use for guidance. And the other cool thing is this lady right here on the right. Her name is Helen. You're going to get a daily email. You're going to get a daily motivational email for 7 days with a video of her as well. And the reason she's in the video is I took Helen through this program at the corporate office just as a test, and Helen lost 6.6 pounds in 7 days. So she's a testament that this program you would be receiving does work. You just got to follow it. So I encourage you, dive into this. You can forward this to anyone you know. You can, friends, family. It's a free report designed to help everyone jumpstart their fitness and weight loss. It's all done at home, so it's all body weight exercises. You don't need any equipment. You don't need a gym membership. You just need to have the willingness to make a change and get ready. And then at the end of the report, we're really excited because we have created an email so people can share their stories with us. We really want to hear how you did in the 7 days. All right, so we completed how to lose 12 to 30 pounds in 12 weeks or less. So I hope we feel good about the body transformation piece, 4 components, sum of all parts. A lot of times with nutrition, we'll be explaining it and we get that deer in the headlights look. And what that is it's either you're going to follow it or you're not. Now you notice in the blueprint, well, you notice in the caloric range, I didn't say alcohol permitted. There is no alcohol in the 6 days. Doesn't matter. You can try to make it part of your calories. Doesn't work. No alcohol in the 6 days, but the 7th day, that's fine. Really important that nutrition is something that we all agree is easy to understand, but hard to follow. And to get into it for women, we want to make sure we're coaching all of our clients with sound information, but recognizing that life does get in the way, and our job is to keep motivating people. High five. It's who gets back on the horse faster who's going to win, not who never falls off the horse. So people do fall off track, and our job is to get them right back up and get right back on their path. All right, number 2, how to turn this passion for body transformation into a meaningful career. Let's talk about career opportunities. So right now, from an employment standpoint, we've got managers, full-time trainers, part-time trainers. So in terms of managers, all of our existing locations at different points in time are always looking for managers. Clearly, what's going to separate you apart from everyone else is your passion for fitness, your passion for transformation, your passion for helping others. And if you can articulate, now that you have a little bit of a leg up, the 4 component skill set required. When you think about it, all that we do is we we transform people, transform women, we turn that into a career, and then of course we expand that by opening more studios. So as a manager, you really want to perfect this 4-component transformation model, and then obviously we want you in our studios. So that's existing studios, and then future studios, we're going to be looking for managers and new stores to be open in key markets around the country. And that could be new studios opened by franchise owners, or it could be new studios opened by us, the corporate office. So stay tuned, I'll give you some more information. And then in terms of salary ranges for managers, typically $50,000 to $70,000 salary plus a bonus, and then a generous benefit package. And in terms of why the range, there's different studios that may pay a lower starting salary and have a higher bonus, or in our case at the corporate office, we're paying a higher salary, and then the bonus comes in if our managers are in the top 10 at the end of the year. So we're really testing pay first, get a higher caliber individual who performs, who doesn't have to be bonused every month, is just based on their peers and being in the top 10 at the end of the year. So definitely a little bit of a salary range, but for the most part, all top managers in this company are paid relatively the same because it's based on performance. Full-time trainers, same thing. There's a benefit package. Full-time trainers are getting anywhere from $18, $17 to $20 an hour, depending on the market, depending on the cost of living. Part-time trainers, same thing, $17 to $20 an hour, depending on the market. All right, how to apply. So if you go to our website and you click the careers link at the very top and then click apply online, you get this little form. And when you look at the form, you fill it out, and then there's a preferred location. When you choose a studio, so existing location, you can pick a studio. If you're interested in a future location where we don't have one yet, you can click other and then put in the desired location. What's really cool about this is it's going to help us find where the talent is. So we may realize that you're in a particular state, you get a great resume, you're talented, you have passion. Now we got to get a studio there so you can manage it. So that's going to help us, look for investors. We may find an owner that wants to open up in that state, but they don't have a team yet. So we could put together a great manager on this call and another great owner. So that could work. So apply online. And we really are looking forward to getting your resume. So we have about 95 locations, 96. I think we have up to 96. Actually, I think it's 97. Sorry about that. 97 locations in 17 states. Created this slide a little while ago. Kind of spread out. 57 of those locations are in Massachusetts alone. So it's where we started. Most of our density in Massachusetts. We've kind of pushed out, and now we are really propelling our growth across the country. I'm headquartered in Northern California. I moved here about a year ago, set up a small office, and the plan is to really grow the West Coast. And then we have the corporate office in the Northeast and just outside of Boston. I'm in Northern California with a team, and the plan is really to build out the U.S. as quick as possible. Areas of focus. So I'm happy to report we had 300 people register for the webinar, and 100 clicked off interested in ownership. And these are the different markets where all of you are coming from. Big concentration in the Northeast, Florida, Northern and Southern California, Seattle, and then a bunch of little states in between. So this is where we're focusing our growth on. All right, so we've talked about transformation. We talked about different career opportunities in terms of managers and trainers at existing locations or future locations, how to apply. Definitely, I want to preface, transformation is a huge part of your resume, whether that's your own personal transformation or your ability to show us that you've helped others. So take the free report, take these components, start your own transformation journey, or help someone else, and you really use that as a resume to whether it's to get in with our company or any company, but it's going to give you a ton of value. All right, thirdly, let's talk about how to open your own Get in Shape for Women franchise. All right, franchise opportunities. I opened my first studio about 20 years ago with $3,500 loaned from my dad. Back in the day where personal training studios were non-existent, so I really didn't have competition. One thing I can't begin to tell you the joy and happiness that my family and I have received as a result of owning my own business. It's provided more than I can tell you, and one of the biggest pieces is time. Being able to control my time and be where I want to be at any given point. And just the joy of doing meaningful work, transforming women. I was lucky to find my passion at an early age and be able to monetize it by creating a little business model, which was originally a personal training studio and then later became small group training. So just and I'm fortunate now to be able to teach others how to open and operate their own businesses. So very, very exciting. In terms of growth, again, back to areas of focus, we plan on putting a lot of our focus on these markets up on the screen. And one way to spur growth is we plan to open 5 to 10 corporate-owned studios in these areas over the next 2 years. So we're in the process of doing the legwork, raising the capital, understanding the strategic planning, and just getting that set, because we're pretty confident by putting 5 to 10 locations in key markets, we will use those as a catalyst to grow those areas, and we can use those corporate-owned studios as local support arms for the franchise owners in those regions. So we're really excited to get ready to really go from just under 100 locations to 250 in a relatively short amount of time. And what's important for everyone on the call is being the first to open in an area is incredibly valuable, because you get the first pick of the best territories. Massachusetts, we have 50, as I said, 57 locations. There's only about 5 or 10 left, and that is going to be completely sold out. So I encourage you, if you're serious about opening your own studio, definitely great to be a pioneer in your area. You get to pick the best territories, and frankly get the best deal. And for us, it's really important that if you're going to be the first of 20 or 30 locations in your area, it's pivotal that you're successful. So don't think that we don't realize how important your success is. And the great thing about franchising is it's a partnership. We can't be successful if you're not successful. So we're kind of married. We're married at that level, and it's totally based on performance. And we have to, one, hold you accountable, but two, need you to really like what you do, so your word of mouth will attract other owners. All right, I'm going to take you through the stages of a franchise startup. So this will help give you a perspective. We could spend, this is probably, if we wanted to get into detail of every one of these boxes, it would probably take us 10 hours. So I'm going to just pick a few of them and go into some detail just to get you started on what we would do in a startup. So first box is checked off because that's the webinar that you're on now. So we would have a webinar. After this webinar, if you're interested in ownership, the next thing would be to schedule a virtual Discover Day. And basically what that is it's a video conference call limited to 5 people and myself, and we essentially have a deeper conversation about the details of opening a studio. And it allows for Q&A. We have too many people on the call today to have Q&A, but this is what Virtual Discover Day is for. The step after Virtual Discover Day would be an in-person Discover Day, which would be, we hold quarterly at the corporate office in Needham, Massachusetts, and that's limited to 10 people. And what we do there is that's basically an opportunity to spend the day with the corporate team, and we get to know each other, and again, we get into more detail all the steps of opening and operating a studio, support, all the way through. After Discover Day, anyone that attends Discover Day, we allow them to hold up to 3 territories for the 2-week due diligence period, and we found that to be a big help because a lot of people would be flying in for Discover Day, and someone else may be interested in a location in their area. We want to make sure that if someone commits to Discover Day, we're going to commit to them by securing some territories at least until they can make up their mind. Anyone that attends Discover Day, we mail out we'll email you a copy of our federal disclosure document. So our franchise disclosure document, FDD, and once that gets signed, you're officially a franchise owner. Once your FDD gets signed, next box, new franchise checklist. So this is a detailed checklist that we've continuously refined over the last 97 locations we've opened, and each time you get better and better at opening a studio. So it's a detailed checklist telling you exactly what things are time sensitive to order, and it coaches you through the setup of your studio. Following that, there's site selection process. And this is a detailed process we go through looking at sites. We would then submit a letter of intent once we find a good location that we both like. We would then negotiate a lease. We have a whole system around lease negotiation, design a floor plan, go through a build out, hire your team. So there's a whole process we teach you in terms of how to hire the right team, how to make sure you're getting people committed. Franchise school is next. So franchise school, you would come to the corporate office in Needham, and it's about 40 hours that week. You're going to go through at least 4 workouts. And one cool thing about the corporate office is we have a replica Get in Shape Room and model surrounded by glass in our corporate office. So we get to really use a live studio in our training. And after franchise school, there's obviously your grand opening, and there's an entire process we have around grand opening checklist. And then our initial site visit, support, of course, there's a ton of support. A 1-year analysis that we like to conduct at the corporate office, and that's basically to evaluate your performance over the course of a year. And then the question becomes in terms of growth, are you ready for a second studio or even interested in one? And that's our kind of end-to-end startup. And then each of these boxes, we have a ton of systems around that. All right, so let me keep moving. Construction, so these are our manuals. These basically, new franchise checklist, as I mentioned, there's a really detailed construction manual, which is going to allow you to kind of run your build out, and then an operations manual, which is a detailed end-to-end of complete operations of your studio. And just so you know, we are supporting you every step of the way. We are essentially quarterbacking the entire process. We want to empower you by giving you the information of everything we're doing, but definitely the whole idea is it's all about support. The beauty of a franchise is you're in business for yourself, not by yourself. Okay, startup costs. So let's give you a range of the startup costs. So basically, $51,000 to $200,000 is the range, and what causes the range to go higher would be a build out, which they cost anywhere from $0 to $50,000. 0 is if we can get a landlord to do the build out for you, and in a good number of cases we get the landlord to do the build out, or they roll the cost of the build out into the rent, which is another good deal, because they're essentially financing the build out. And then additional funds is the 0 to 50,000. That's just basically after you open, how long did it take you to ramp up? And then equipment, whether you finance it or pay cash for it. And then one more is the franchise fee, which I don't have on here. And the franchise fee is $29,000. And we are going to finance the franchise fee to further assist people on this call to open their own studio. So basically, if I'm pretty confident if you have $100,000, minimum $100,000, or confident you can raise $100,000, I'm confident that we can get you open. That's about the number that we've seen pretty successful, and we're really careful with, obviously, with that budget. You can finance more materials, and really the key is finance everything you can, hold as much cash in the bank as possible, get through your ramp up, and then you're good to go. All right, hours of operation. The studios are open Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 12 noon, and then 4 to 8 at night. Saturday, 8 to 12. So this is kind of phase 1 hours of operation. Managers are working 40 to 50 hours, full-time trainers, part-time trainers. Now, once these hours are full, a lot of our owners will slowly expand, and they'll open at 5:30 a.m. They may run a group at 11:30 to 12:30. They may start at 3:30 instead of 4, and then eventually we have owners that have opened up on Sunday. So it all depends on how full you want your store, how bad you want to grow it. Totally your call. Sample studio expenses. So this gives you a breakdown of the typical expenses. And at the bottom, I didn't include any lease or loans because we don't know what that is. And the 6% royalty is just based on gross sales. So you could plug that in based on what you think your gross sales are going to be. We know so the majority of franchising out there has really been created for owner-operators. So the most successful studio is going to be an owner that's also managing it. Because we all know when you own the business, no one's going to put as much attention into it as the owner, or care about it as much. No offense to managers, but when you own something, it's your baby. So we know we know the hard cost of a studio is somewhere between $18,000 and $20,000 a month, including everything. The only thing that doesn't include is what you would pay yourself. So we wanted to kind of give you the hard cost of running a studio. The other thing to look at is local advertising. Pretty robust marketing budget. Once the studio is full, then the plan is to reel that down, because there's no reason to have a really intense marketing budget if you're full and you have a waiting list. So the plan is, over time, we slowly reel down the advertising cost as your studio becomes full. And the cool thing about our studios is they really can only fit 150 women. If you look at any given territory, there's roughly 20 to 30,000 population per territory. So there's 10 to 15,000 women in the area within the 1, 2, 3 mile radius, and we can only fit 150. So we do a really good job at transformation and treating customers like family. Pretty hard to not do well. Okay, training options. So here's our pricing: 3 months, 6 months, 12-month packages. This is essentially what we offer. As you can see, the pricing, the least expensive, 12 months, $21 a session. And we wanted to make personal training affordable. So this is essentially great pricing for working out in a private upscale studio with a trainer every step of the way, nutrition coaching, great weight training programming, 4 components, camaraderie, culture, just wonderful. Wonderful environment. The women absolutely love the experience in the studios. Okay, revenue streams. So let's talk about the different ways we make money in the studios. New sales. So that's essentially someone coming in interested in the program, and I'll kind of back up. So let's say someone walks in. The way we sell the program is we we sell the packages based on results. So if someone comes in and wants 20 pounds to lose, I'm going to recommend them to sign up 20 weeks. So a pound a week. So we kind of fall in that 1 to 2 pounds a week, even more a pound a week. So I would tell the person, well, 20 pounds, it's really 20 weeks. You're looking at a 6-month package. So that's initial sales. Upgrades are basically anytime someone signs up, whether they sign up for 3 months, 6 months, whether they sign up for 3 to 6 months, we give all the clientele 30 days to upgrade to a larger package. So someone may come in, they're not totally sure about the program yet, they commit to a year, they may sign up for 6 months. And then again, within this 30-day new client experience, the goal is to wow them, transform them, make them feel comfortable. And then within the 30 days, we say, hey, look, Sally, I'm not going anywhere, you're not going anywhere. I think you should go the year. You're going to get the lower procession rate, and it aligns with your goals. So in many cases, the most successful studios are signing clients up, but then upgrading them within the first 30 days to get full commitment. And then it does two things. It obviously really helps cash flow, but most importantly, it gets the client mentally committed to 12 months. Is the client better off only in our program for 6 months, or are they better in 12 months? So clearly the longer the better, because of not only reaching their goal, but the next challenge, as we all know, is maintaining your goal. So the third piece is renewals. So we have new sales, upgrades, and then renewals. Now a renewal is not going to happen until people finish out their 6 or 12-month program. So what I like to say typically is, what I tell franchise owners is you really bought a franchise for year 3, because it takes a year to learn how to run. You figure the first year you're learning how to run the model, and you're building a clientele base. Year 2 is the clientele base is maturing, and year 3 you should have all revenue streams firing: new sales, upgrades, and renewals. So year 3 is a key year. The fourth piece here, protein sales. So we stay focused on ultimately transformation. This piece, so we push whey protein just so people can maintain that 100-gram protein minimum requirement. And then this last one that's coming soon is we have about 11,000 clients across our 97 locations. And we look at these 11,000 women, and new ones are coming in every month. Some are leaving, some are coming in. So there's just this robust culture of women. They're all going to Lululemon buying clothing. So our plan is we've identified a couple of high-end athletic clothing lines where we feel confident. We want to put a mannequin in each of our studios and have a really nice athletic outfit on the mannequin that we can change out either monthly or quarterly. And we feel that why send our clients to Lululemon? Let's let them buy the athletic clothing right from us. So it'll be another kind of small revenue stream, and because it can all be done online, we don't need a huge retail store. And the cool thing is we can use like the lady figure on the clothing and make it really cool. So that's coming soon. So those are the revenue streams. I'm going to kind of take you a little bit through financial performance. So this is something we disclose in our franchise document, and I'll just take you through it. So this is based on 92 studios open 2013. The average revenue, monthly revenue, is $25,000 and $25,047 a month. The average expenses for these studios is about $18,500, leaving a profit or income of about $79,000. So if you open up a studio and you do the average revenue and you're an owner-operator, your income would, based on this, would be $79,000. And then looking at the high performers, the top 10%, they're averaging $38,000. Their operating expenses are a little bit higher, just under $21,000. And then expenses before a manager, so obviously being an owner-operator, they're looking at, plus $200,000. So a top-performing studio that's owner-managed is looking in the $200,000 range, which is fantastic. A lot of our top performing studios have chosen to put a manager in place and kind of take a step back rather than make more money, which is fine. Put a manager in place, take a step back, and then still make a really nice living, but you have a full-time manager in place doing most of the heavy lifting, which is really cool. And then we listed our top 10 studios for 2013. So these are definitely our top 10. Done a great job. All right, so I'm going to take you through the site selection process, which is just, again, one of these boxes just to get you kind of started if you want to look around for locations. So we start by identifying a territory. We use this little website called zipwho.com. Allows you to kind of put in your state, put in an income range, put in a population range, and it'll rank all the territories, all the zip codes. So the best zip codes are the ones that have a really good population density with median income. And even looking here, like if you look down, if I go to like number 10, this 41,000 population and median income is 86,000. That is better than number 2, which is 24,000 populations and 99,000 income, just based on population density. So you want to find good population density, good income, obviously good amount of retail. Finding a location, we use LoopNet, CoStar, Craigslist, different softwares, help you identify a good spot, and then also drive-by. A lot of times landlords won't, they'll use just a local, they'll actually use no one, they'll just put a sign up in the window and it never hits any of these websites. Finding a location, we of course want to pick a location that looks good, it's got a good tenant mix, it's got good parking, and just really feels good. We don't pick dilapidated buildings on dark streets with no parking. So really want something lively and well manicured. Once we find the location, you like it, we like it, we feel good about it. We're going to run demographics on it. So we're going to run a 1, 2, 3 mile radius just to understand what it looks like. And then we'll take this report, compare it to all the other studios that we've opened up. And in this particular example, it's much higher than normal. We pulled this for someone recently in New York, and it just, population is a lot higher than we typically see. But in any event, we look at population density, median income. This is just showing 3 miles, but particularly we really focus on the 1 and 2 mile, and for obvious reasons. Most of our clientele are the ones that come closest to the studio. All right, so moving on, so we kind of went through, so next one I'm going to touch on is floor plan. So let's look at, I'm just going to show you a basic floor plan. This is another step in the process. We'll help you look at your layout. All layouts are different. In this case, the lower right-hand corner is where you walk in, a little waiting room, front desk, strength to the left, manager's office, consultation room, back right corner. And we're really going to just help you design a really cool layout based on best practices, where to put stuff, so there's a really open flow to the model. And typically we look for 9 to 1,200 square feet. It's a really efficient footprint, not a lot of wasted space, and that keeps build-out costs down, and of course rent and utilities down as well. So let's jump into support. Another one of the boxes just to touch on, had some questions from you guys about support. Franchise school, we talked about, there's a weekly owner call. So every week, Lou and myself will have a call with our owners, and in that call we do a webinar just like this, but we do a Q&A back and forth, so we really can stay connected with our owners, hear about their concerns, vote on different marketing programs. So weekly owner call has been really great to keep our communication really strong. There's weekly support calls, so there's a bunch of conference calls every week going over different aspects of the model, transformation, sales, new client experience, technology, and anything we kind of have, and then it just allows a bunch of owners to jump on one call at once. quarterly meetings. So all owners and managers are invited to attend our quarterly meetings, and those are super awesome because roundtable discussions, panel discussions, a lot of learning and a lot of sharing amongst franchise owners. And then of course our annual convention, that's a wonderful celebration where we recognize our top owners, and just a really fun time to celebrate everyone's achievement, for the year. This is basically the Get in Shape Room system, what we follow inside the studio. So this is kind of our operating model, and I'll kind of just run you from obviously vision. Just a quick run. Once you have, obviously, it's all about the right people, so that's why it's the first box: culture, capital, strategic planning, hire your team, and then it's marketing, sales, new client experience, body transformation, making sure you're creating a strong community, referrals, testimonials, and enhancements to the model. And look at all these little boxes. These are all systems that have been created within these columns. So we spend the entire week of franchise school going through every single one of these boxes, making sure we're clear. And obviously, post-franchise school, there's a consistent flow of the system, and we continuously train and retrain this entire program. We'll picture the quarterly meetings. This is a manager breakout session, roundtable discussion. And at these meetings, we get the owners and managers to vote, and then we let the top vote getter ideas just percolate to the top. Owner roundtable. The different awards that we give out. So we have a monthly. Every month is a first place trophy for the top franchise, and then there's a top 10 board that we post recognizing the top 10. We do this monthly, quarterly, and then annually there's a first place trophy for the top franchise of the year, and then we give out trophies to the top 10 owners. And this is our top franchise owner for 2013. Here's a picture of the top 10 owners, and the other cool thing about the quarterly meetings and the annual convention is the top 10 owners and any of our top owners are just doing well. And when people do well, they want to give back. And the coolest thing is our top 10 owners and top owners are the ones that lead roundtable discussions, lead panel discussions, and they're always there to help and lending a helping hand. Even for new owners that aren't even open yet, they were exactly where you are today. They were contemplating opening their own business. They weren't sure if they could do it. They called an owner. They took a step. They attended a webinar, and now here they are up on stage receiving a trophy for being a top 10 owner. So I encourage you to reach out to all the owners. They were, as I said, they were where you are now, and they were able to overcome that, and now they're incredibly happy owning their own studio. Technology, we just made the switch to use MindBody Online. So if you go to their website, you'll get an idea. But ultimately, we had a custom application that worked well, but it was missing attendance tracking, mobile scheduling, and really robust reporting. So MindBody has given us a lot more than we had. So we're excited to move forward with them. Little snapshot of a document we use in our strategic planning. And what's really cool about this document is when you look at Basecamp, lower left corner, you can actually establish a 5-year goal. How many customers you have now? It could be 0. I have 0 revenue, and I have 1 studio that I just opened. And you can create this roadmap, and this is your own mission. This is your own personal mission at your own studio level, and this is where you're gonna get your team aligned around, and everyone has different goals. Someone's goal might be to work 60 hours a week, year 1, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and then get it down to working 10 hours a week with a dynamic team in place. Or someone else may want to go from 1 to 3 studios in 5 years. Who knows? But this allows you to set a vision, hire, set your, obviously, of your purpose, your core values, and your mission. Then you're going to hire, train, and fire to those three things, and you're going to have goals, and you're going to reach them. All right, so we went through all the boxes. Just think what's left. So we touched. So let's a few minutes left. Let's touch on Discovery Day. So the next step in the process is virtual Discovery Day. So anyone on the call that's really interested in opening your own studio, you feel pretty confident that you can raise $100,000 or you have a $100,000 minimum, then I encourage you to schedule virtual Discovery Day, and I'm going to email out an invitation to everyone. But basically, I limit it to 5 people. We can have a back and forth Q&A. Anything goes in terms of questions. Being someone to open up a studio with $3,500, I know hard times. I know the difficulties. I know the challenges. I'm going to help you try to overcome them, and kind of instill the confidence that you all have down deep, and help you really get over some of the obstacles that are in your way, and hopefully get you to pursue your dream of owning your own business. I've had many people in my past where from the first meeting it took 12 months before they decided to buy a franchise, and that's perfectly fine. This isn't a race. This is just a process of helping people overcome their current situation and get their mind clear, get ready to own their own business, and change their life. So the dates and times that I'm going to hold these, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to run one at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., one on Friday, 10 and 3 as well. And based on times that's filling up, I'll open up more of them. All right, so I feel like we're pretty good in terms of this call. Let me see, I'm going to wrap up. So that's just a picture of Discovery Day. And as mentioned before, it's going to be Friday, July 11th. Well, I won't even get into the actual Discovery Day. Let's focus on virtual Discovery Day. But the next one coming up is going to be July 11th. This is just a quick shot of a company called Foncasé that we support. You can get more information on our website. It's a wonderful charity that empowers women by helping them, especially the ones that are in a really difficult spot. So you can learn a ton more on our website. I visited Haiti. My favorite photo is this woman in the red shirt, and she's someone that went from total poverty. Foncasé helped grow her into her own business, and during the meeting, the woman said that her fiance works for her. And I found it interesting that here's a woman, she's glowing. She went from disparity to owning her own business. Clearly, she's a magnet. And I mentioned to the woman I was with to translate, make sure you only pay your fiance just a little bit. So I got a good laugh out of that. So wonderful charity that we're supporting. You can learn more on our website. These are some accolades that we focus on. Entrepreneur Magazine ranked us number 279 of the top 500 franchises. In the Inc. 5000, we're number 1414 of the top 5,000 companies. So we're, of course, working really hard to each year improve our standing. These are some books that I highly recommend. They've made a huge impact on myself personally. I think maybe in a later webinar I'll get into some details, but recommend you picking these up. And then a few inspiring TED Talks that I really recommend. These 3 guys right here. All right, so to kind of wrap up, we spent some time on transformation. We're really clear on the 4 components and why they're all important. We talked about how to turn this new skill and passion into a career. And then thirdly, we touched on how to open your own franchise, how to open your own Get in Shape Women location, and how to learn more. So like every meeting that we have, we like to end with what we call final thoughts. So we begin with positive focus. We get in the right frame of mind. We get excited about what's possible. we have a productive meeting, we hold ourselves accountable, and then we end with final thoughts. And so for me, my final thoughts are, really want to thank everyone for taking the time out of your busy day to join me on this webinar. I'm really excited to get to talk with you and share with you my passion, which is those three things that this webinar focused on. And hopefully I can get you into your own studio, or at the least get you employed into one of our existing studios or a future corporate location. So thanks for attending, and I hope you have a great day.